the little snowflake stamp here, and we're going to be using the snowflake dies. There's actually 3 die and one that is an outline that cuts out this one. And the ones that we're going to be using, though, are going to be the ones that can be standalone. And as you can see, they make all these little beautiful snowflakes. Okay, so let's get started. So what I'm using is, I'm using the cute little peekaboo bag. So the peekaboo bag is something that Stampin' Up! Is selling out of the annual catalog. And as you can see, it's got this little peekaboo to it. When they come in the package, they come in packages of 10, and they have the white and they have the craft. So the craft can be really fun as well. And they all have the little peekaboo window so that whatever you have in there, treats or gifts or whatever it is, they show up through that window. Okay, so this is just a plain little bag, but I'm going to show you how to decorate it. Okay, so using Pool Party and the snowflake stamp, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp, and remember I'm stamping off, I'm not always stamping on, and whatever I stamp on the peekaboo portion isn't necessarily going to show, but I want. And then, of course, where this ridge is, this is actually like a Ziploc. So it's not going to show up very well there because it's not a flat surface. So I'm going to kind of stamp over the top of it. Okay, on the back, it's all paper. So it gives you lots of places to stamp. And remember, these are handmade. It's not like they have to be perfect. And this is just going to be something someone tears into, probably a kid. And, and there's a very good chance that it won't be looking like anything pretty when they're all done with that. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to emboss the middle of it with these wintry 3D embossing folders. I'm going to use the one with the snowflake. So as you can tell, the snowflake is really pretty. Just a really pretty pattern with swirls. Now, the thing about these with the little Ziploc at the top is that the Ziploc, if you emboss over that, it stops working. So I'm just going to emboss over the middle of it like so, and a little above and a little below the little window. And I'm going to use the large Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine because this needs to go in this way. So when I'm doing embossing, I'm using the plate 1 like I've showed you before, but this time I'm going to use plate 4. And plate 4 is this example right here for a 3D embossing folder. So there's regular embossing folders, there's die cutting. I'm using 1, 2, and 3. Regular embossing folders, I'd be using 1 and a 3. But for 3D embossing, I'm going to be using a 1 and a 4. Okay, so the 3s, remember, are the clear plates. So let me move this so that you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, sorry about the earthquake. So I'm going to put it right here on the number 1 plate. You always want to put your embossing folders in with their folding area going in first. That way you don't have any chance of warping it. Okay. So I've sent you some links, or I have some links on my page that show where it is. Hey Judy, hey Zoila, thank you for joining me. I forget to look, so I appreciate the reminders that you guys are going to be there. Okay, so as you can see, I've embossed it, and what I get is this really pretty snowflake embossing over the top of the stamped snowflakes. So they don't match up exactly, but it just makes for a really pretty little package. Okay, so that's the Wintry 3D embossing folders. And they have this really pretty fir bough pattern on one, and then the snowflakes on the other. So hopefully you guys can see this okay. All right. All right, next I'm going to die cut out my snowflakes that I need. Now I'm using the wonderful snowflakes, which are those really pretty iridescent snowflakes. And I know if you were part of my class in November, we used these in our Love and Peace class. They're just so pretty. I love using them. And I only need a 2-inch by 4-inch piece of cardstock. I probably didn't need that much. And I'm not going to stamp anything on these snowflakes. I'm just going to die cut them out of white cardstock. So I'm going to grab my 3 snowflakes. So there's a little one, big one, and an itty bitty one. This itty bitty one can be a flower center or it can be a snowflake. So I'm using it for the snowflake right now. Okay, so when I'm doing die cutting with the mini machine, let me turn this around because I'm right-handed. I'm going to use the plate 1 platform, plate 2, and then put down my paper. We learned this last week, but I'm just going over it again. And then my dies on top of that. And remember, it's the sharp side down. I'm going to leave a little room for my sentiment tag, which, as you can see, I'm going to need a little sentiment tag. And I showed you how to cut out dies. I think snowflakes, we did these in the evening, or no, let's see, what color was it? It was Starry Sky cardstock. They were so pretty against that white. So these are just white on white. All right, and then I need my little sentiment stamped real quick. And my sentiment is just love you, and it's out of the same set. So you can see the little tiny love you. So let me just stamp that real quick. And then I can die cut that. Now the little tag die that I'm using is not from this set. So let me see. The little tag that I'm using is from the Cracker and Treat Box dies. And so I'm using that little tag because I need something small for this little verse. I'm using some washi tape just to help my sentiment stay in place, or the tag to stay in place while I die cut it. And as you notice, I am staggering. When I have a straight edge, if I go straight against the roller, it tends to be a lot harder to roll through. But if you put it on a diagonal, then it seems to just go through really easy without any problem. See, it wasn't even a hiccup. Okay. All right, now we have our tag. We've got all our pieces. And this is the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss Machine. I'm super excited because starting in January, Stampin' Up! Has a beautiful little blue one that I don't have yet, but it is for those that want to join Stampin' Up! So I'll be showing more about that here when we get closer to January. Okay, so I am using the Pool Party sheer ribbon. And what I did is I'm making one of those little three bows, and I'm putting it in a long piece. And let me show you how I did it so that you can see. And this kit, if you want this kit along with my other two little goodies, I think I showed that on Monday. So let me just show you real quick what they look like. So it's a kit to make this little stocking stuffer, and it's a kit to make this little stocking stuffer. All you need to do is order $25 or more, and I'll send it to you for free as a thank you. So you'll get the kit to make this. I can emboss it for you, but you'll have to do the stamping. I can't do that. And this is only in the US. This little stocking stuffer and this little stocking stuffer. So it'll have the mints and the lip balms. This one is empty for you to fill yourself. So those are all free if you order $25 before the 15th or by the 15th. That's my birthday. So it'll be my thank you and way for celebrating. Okay. So what I did is I got a piece that's just a little more than 36 inches. And the reason I'm holding it like this, maybe you can't see. So from my thumb to my left shoulder, my right thumb to my left shoulder is about 36 inches. So that's how I've always measured a yard. And I'm going to go a little bit further than that. And I'm going to start about, I want to say about 14 inches in. And I'm going to hold on to it with my fingers. And this is how I make my little three-way bows. So I'm going to wrap it around so that it is around three times. So I'm going to hold it with these two fingers, go over, under, over, under, over, under. And then I need to figure out where I'm going to need to cut it. And it looks like I forgot to bring my scissors over. I've been busy on Christmas projects, so excuse the mess behind me. Okay, so I'm going to do it about right there. And okay, so let's start over so I don't lose you. So you're going between these two fingers, over, then under the other finger, under the first finger, under the second, under, under. And then I'm going to put it between fingers, and then this last one, I'm going to tie it in a knot. So I'm going under and through, and then I'm tightening it. And it makes these really pretty fluffy bows. So if you're wondering what I'm going to do with all this, I want my bow to be around about here. And it looks like I forgot my adhesives as well. Okay, so I'm going to put a glue dot down because I want the bow to sit about there. And then I'm going to wrap this around. Oops, that was the wrong one. Yeah, I needed the other one wrapped around. Okay, so I'm wrapping it around. And then I'm going to tie a bow as close to this bow as possible. So that actually it's over the top of it. You can't get too carried away with it, but it ends up being a fourth little bow, and then I'm just going to cut off the excess. So isn't that a pretty little bow? So I'm just putting that up at the top. Okay, and looks like I forgot dimensionals too. Let's see how many things I forget. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to put this iridescent wonderful snowflake on with a glue dot. And I'm going to put it up here under this bow as close as I can. And then, once I get all these little pieces out of the largest of the 3 snowflakes. So as a reminder, I have, these are probably hard to see, but I have these 3 snowflakes that I'm going to be stacking on top of each other. So let me just clean this up. Okay, so actually I'm going to put a dimensional in the middle. I'm going to stack the first snowflake, and then I'm going to put another dimensional and stack on the second snowflake. Now this third one, I could just stack it on like that, but what I'm going to do, so I've used my stylus before, if you guys remember, and this is a foam board that you can buy from Stampin' Up. Let me see if I can figure out what the actual name of it is. I think it's in the tools. And it's called a Stampin' Pierce mat. So you can actually poke through. So if you use the pick a tool, you can see how sharp this end is. Sorry, it's a little hard to see. So I can pierce things if you don't have a punch. But instead of piercing, I'm going to change out the tool. It has pierce and it has a little paddle. I'm going to change it out for this little stylus. And if you remember, we used this to emboss or to score things in the past classes. So I'm going to take this little snowflake and I'm just going to rub and watch how it just kind of folds up on itself. And it kind of cups. And so I'm giving my little snowflake a 3D look. Okay, I'm looking for my embellishments. All right, so I'm using the Fine Sparkle adhesives, and they have some that they're so pretty, and they look like the pool party color. And I'm going to put this one in the middle of my snowflake, and I'm pushing it down. And then I'm going to use a glue dot to adhere it to the center. So you can see. And I'm going to add a couple more. So this pick a tool has like a sticky end, and it's great for picking up embellishments. I have great fingernails. Not everybody does, but that way you can pick up small things like embellishments. Okay, so this is pretty much the bag finished with the exception of my little tag. So I'm going to use glue dot on the whole portion of it because I'm just going to tuck it under the ribbon rather than add it. And then I'm adding a dimensional on the back. And then I'm just going to tuck my little tag under the ribbon. It covers it a little bit, but I think it's still okay. And then I'm going to add my mince. It has a little gusseted bottom, so you can actually push everything down and it stands up, and then it just zips closed. And there, I can stick it in my little stockings. So I'm making a bunch of these for family. And like I said, if you're interested in purchasing this kit, the kit would include everything you need to make except for the stamps and the dies. So you'd have to use your own verses and use your own dies for the snowflakes. But I'd be sending you the little bag, the wonderful snowflake, enough ribbon to make this bow, the embellishments, the mince. I'd be sharing or sending you everything to make this except for the ink and the stamp for the snowflake. And again, you'd have to use your own. And then everything to make this. So I wouldn't have the verse for you. You'd have to have your own verses. But I'd send you everything to make this as well, including the lip balms as a thank you. But you need to make an order of $25 or more before the 15th of this month of December. So, all right. Well, that's all I have for you tonight. Hopefully, oh, and with the kit, you'll get a PDF with instructions, but you can also watch this video so that you know how to make this bag if there's anything that I did that was too fast. So thank you again so much for joining me. If you watch this later on YouTube, please click like and subscribe and share it with a friend. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a great week. And if we don't see each other again before Christmas, I hope you have a great Christmas as well.